All in all, though, about 2 to 2.5 years before you're actually blessed to go to combat.
So that would put you at right around about 2000, 2001.
Yeah, so I got to my first ops assignment in February of '01, and a little different in Kunsan because you're only there for a year. So the mission qualification training program's pretty truncated because they want you ready to go as soon as possible. So I think I had my check ride probably the end of February, maybe beginning of March of '01.
Well, I have to ask now. This wasn't on my list of questions, but because we're talking about Korea and I'm genuinely curious, when it's early '01, I mean, this is 23 years ago at this point, give or
Yeah.
take a little bit. Was the mission for you guys in the Air Force people to deter and or attack North Korea? Was it
Yep.
more aimed at Japan? Sorry, not Japan, China. So it's North Korea.
It was
So,
solely focused on North Korea.
and in your assessment at that time, if a war had broken out in 2001 between North Korea and South Korea in the US, what would that have looked like?
I mean, North Korea, the problem with the North Korea issue is just they have so much artillery and stuff, and the proximity of Seoul to the DMZ and to a lot of South Korea, is all in range of that stuff. Their capabilities are fairly limited, honestly. Like from an air-to-air standpoint, it would have been fun. I'd have been an ace in a day, man. I mean, we would we would have been crushing things over there. But large army, not very capable, but they've got a lot of people to throw at the problem, pretty brainwashed. Um, so they're probably going to fight for a while. I have no doubt that if that thing were ever to kick off, that South Korea with the United States would have no problem winning that campaign. It would be ugly at the beginning for sure. But if I'm completely honest with you, when I was there, at least in the time frame that I was there from '01 to '02, it felt like we were there more to keep the South from going north sometimes than we were keeping the North from going south.
Really? That's
Yeah.
fascinating. I've never heard anyone say the stat that you always hear get thrown around about North Korea's Air Force is their pilots average something like 20 hours a year.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. And they're
Yeah.
flying planes that are 50, 60,
Oh, they're so
70 years
old.
old.
Like the majority of their aircraft are what we call teenagers or the MiG, like, 15, 17, 19, 21. They've got a couple of MiG 29s, but nothing. I mean, it would be, especially with the stealth capabilities we have now, man, it wouldn't even be fair.
That's fascinating. I could talk about the North Korean topic for hours on end, just because that by itself is just absolutely crazy. But I want to talk about Operation Northern Watch because it's
Yeah.
not something I know a lot about. I know that the younger viewers of this podcast also almost certainly don't have any clue about it. Can you walk